started. Hey, listen, have you heard of your DMN? It's kind of hard to have your DMP if you don't understand your DMN. Now, your DMN stands for Default Mode Network. Let's get started. Hey, listen,
Default
have you
Mode
heard
Network,
of your DMN?
is that part of you?
Let's see here. I got to turn that
hard to
volume
have your
off over here.
DMP.
Mute it. There we go. All right. Your DMN is your Default Mode Network. And this is the part of you that operates everything about you. Your default mode network, when you understand, this is the part of you that daydreams. This is the part of you that has your identity. This is the part of you that begins to allow you to maintain your identity. So when your default mode network is busy, it's activated, it allows you to do all of the things that you want to do today. Now, self-talk and a variety of other things that keep you from doing some of the things, right? Because you have good ideas. How many of you have a goal written down and sometimes you struggle towards it? You have your DMP written down. You want to write your DMP, and your DMP stands for your definite major purpose, or DMC, your definite DCA, your definite chief aim. These are terms that Napoleon Hill came up with when he talked about your North Star, the thing that you want to focus on. I want you to truly understand that when you begin on your journey of personal undevelopment, your journey of personal desire, of wants, of wishes, of creating success, one of the things that's most valuable, one of the things that it will be valuable for you to understand and grasp and wrap your arms around is that everything happens up here. Everything happens up here in your brain. And if you don't understand your brain, if you choose not to understand your brain, if you choose to not pay attention to understanding the modalities and the methodologies and the functions that are already wired into your operating system called you will struggle. That's why scripts don't work. They don't. They don't work until they become part of you. See, if I just say a script and I read it like a robot, that is reading a script. That means that it's not become a part of me. Until the thing that you want becomes a part of you, you're going to struggle. And you'll struggle, and you'll keep buying stuff, and you'll keep buying journals, and you'll keep buying notebooks, and you'll keep buying programs, and you'll keep doing this, and you'll not be reviewing. How much of your brain was preconditioned before you became cognitive? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. How much of your survival was already in place before you knew how to survive? Didn't you know how to breathe? Didn't they take breathing and take it off your to-do list? How many of you would forget to check the box on your to-do list if breathing was on your to-do list? How much of your body's ability to convert food into calories has been taken off your checklist? You follow what I'm saying? That your survival mechanism was already wired in. It was already wired in, and it was something that you've already, thank goodness, has been wired in. Now, were you wired in for success, or were you wired for survival? How many of you have heard the story about the saber-toothed tiger in the room, right? The reason that your brain acts the way it does, will this kill me, or how fast could I recognize the pattern? How many of you, when you hear a bump in the night, instantly you may get jarred. You may get jarred out of you're watching the TV or this, that, or the other. You turn the TV off and you go, what? Quiet. Where did you learn that? Where did you learn to go quiet? That's an instinct that's wired into you. So here's what happens. Here's what happens when you decide you're going to go have success. When you decide you're going to go off on a journey and you're going to create new things, you're going to do a live every day. You're going to start a blog. You're going to do a training every day. Your brain says, stop, wait. Where's the problems with this? Where will I be in survival mechanism? Is there anything here that's going to kill me? And if it's not going to kill you, guess what the brain does instantly? It says, let me find the pattern. Let me wave to some of the folks here on Instagram. Let me find the pattern. Let me find the pattern. Let me find the pattern that allows me to deal with any problems that show up. So your body goes on high alert. How many of you have ever done something that was a little, it may have scared, it may have tested your ability to pay attention? How many of you have ever done something wildly exciting? Bungee jumping, the bouncy chair, one of those things that flings people in the air where people go up and pass out, right? Knock my mic off. How many of you have ever done something like that? How many of you have ever gone skydiving? How many of you have ever gone and done something that says, I really need to pay attention to if I'm going to die here, right? How about a car spinning on the ice? How about a near-death experience? Why is it that these things seem like they take such a long time to go through? It's because we finally focused. Your brain has 20 million bits of data per second, 20 million bits of data per second going into your body. Now, the number varies. So listen, you get above 10 for me, 10 bits of information per second, and I'm a little lost. Can you imagine 20 million bits of data? Think about that for a second. Now, you know how much the brain is conscious of? The brain is conscious of, puts into short-term memory, 40 bits of data. How many of you have ever walked up to somebody? How many of you have ever walked up to somebody, been introduced to them, and 2 seconds later, drop a 2 in the chat, 2 seconds later, you forgot their name. Ah, crap, what'd they say their name was? Do you know why that happens? Do you know why that happens? You forget their name. The reason you forget their name is because in the first 5 seconds of meeting somebody, oh, and by the way, this is usually everybody. In the first 5 seconds of meeting somebody, you're making your initial judgment. How do I know this? How do I know that? Well, first of all, it's science. In the first 5 seconds, 120 bits of data are using to wind up. How many of you drop a F if you remember people's faces and not necessarily their names? I remember the face, but I don't remember the name. Do you know why you remember the face? The name's a lot easier. Why do you remember the face? Why do you remember the structural shape and the where the eyes are and how far more and were their teeth straight and how much of the? Do you know why? Do you know why? Because that's how you decide whether they're a friend or foe, whether they are enemy or not, so that you could recognize the challenge in the future. Because your brain says, I need to understand our environment so that I'm not constantly on high alert. How many of you know somebody and you've known somebody for decades? You've known somebody for decades, and all of a sudden they show up, and without them saying anything, you go, are you okay? Drop an okay in the chat. If you've ever asked anybody, are you okay? See, this is your default mode network. Your default mode network is constantly on a high alert. And what happens is when you finally get into a meditative state, how many of you, maybe you struggle a little bit for meditation, and when you go into meditation, your mind starts to go just absolutely bonkers. It starts to go crazy, and it starts to think of the craziest things. All right, you go into meditation, all of a sudden your mind starts asking you, why can't I lick my elbows? Why can't my wrists touch my shoulders? How many of you are trying to lick your elbow right now or touch your shoulder with your wrist? Right? My point is that the default mode network starts to force you, starts to put you into a state that says, I've got to be aware of my surroundings. And the brain looks for two things. Will it kill me, or how fast could I recognize the pattern? The reason that your DMP, your definite major purpose, your definite chief aim, is so difficult to maintain until, Jim Rohn's favorite word, because your default mode network needs a rewire. And where does the rewire take place in the default mode network? In your brain, insane in the membrane. It takes your brain to make this change. And many of us are not taking the time, willing to take the time to rewire and reset and recalibrate this magnificent, the most complex computing device in the known universe, sitting above your shoulders, called your brain. It's one of the reasons why I've become a brain certified trainer, understanding that we can do through meditation, rewire, we can do through nutrition, rewire, we can do through a combination of meditation and nutrition, rewire, through self-talk, rewire, through neuroencoding, rewire. And it's not necessarily rewiring, it's unwiring so that we can create new patterns. How many of you have had a good idea? You said, listen, I'm going to drink X amount of water. I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to get myself healthy, and I'm going to begin with hydration. Drop an H in the chat if you ever said, you know what? I'm going to drink my gallon a day, my half gallon a day. And you decided you were going to hydrate. You were going to get healthy. And you know this is good for you. You know it's a good thing for you. And it's a great place to start. It's an easy place to start. I don't have to go to the gym. I can drink some water. I don't have to go buy weights. I can drink some water. I don't have to snap myself in the face with a rubber band that flips off my foot because I'm stretching. I can drink water. I don't have to cook anything. I can drink water. I don't have to go to the store and get organic. I should drink healthy water. Kangen water be a good thing. You should check out your local Kangen distributor. You should find these things that allow you to get healthy. Drink water. But your default mode network, who's wired because your parents used to drink Tab. Anybody's parents ever drink Tab? How many of you are old enough to remember Tab? The reason your default mode network says on day 2, do we really need to be drinking this water? Your default mode network says, do we really need to be drinking this water? Because if we do, then that changes everything. How many of you realize that you've got to go through a brain rewire? You do it for yourself. Listen, if you've ever had something that you didn't have before and all of a sudden you can't live without it. TikTok, if you ever had something before that you didn't know you needed, but now you can't live without it. Scrolling, if you ever had something before that you didn't know you couldn't use, and now all of a sudden it becomes irreplaceable. YouTube, all of these things that you never had before, all of a sudden become a part of you, because here's the thing, if the product is free, listen carefully, if the product is free, you're the product. If the product, right, in the social media documentary they did, or the movie they did about social media, if the product is free, you're the product. So if all of these things that the product is free and you think you're getting benefit out of it, you're the product. You're the product. And now all of a sudden, when your default mode network says, we're the product, we don't create the product. See, if you begin to build your business, aren't you now building a product? Aren't you building your brand? How many of you know, I need to build my brand. I need to get a website. I need to get a logo. I need to find colors. I need to get a font. That's when you start to build your brand. But the reason many of you struggle in building your brand is because now all of a sudden your idea becomes the product and you now own something. See, anybody's success, the reason that it's important to understand your default mode network is so you can begin to understand your success. The reason you struggle, if you struggle right now, if you are struggling financially right now, if you are struggling in relationships right now, if you're struggling with your weight right now, if you're struggling with your sense of calmness right now, if you're struggling with your sense of being right now, it's your default mode network. Go Google it. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm a farm boy from Ohio with a 0.9 grade point average. I can't make this stuff up. But what I can do is I can understand, I can research inside of a niche and understand stuff that I can explain it to myself so I can understand it. And if I can understand it, I found out that usually if I can understand it and I can explain it from my understanding, a lot of people see things in a new way. See, one of my mission statements is to change the way I say things so the things I say change things. How many of you, what you say sounds like they want to change things, but they don't ever seem to change things? Some of you have done your meditations. It didn't seem to change things. You're still on this incremental path when you know you're capable of quantum leaps. Drop a QL in the chat. Well, just tell me, which one do you want? IL, incremental leap, or QL, quantum leap? Type it in the chat. Which do you want, IL or QL? So if you want QL, you can't do it on your own. The DIY method isn't going to work because DIY gets you IL, incremental leaps. Listen, you've had a quantum leap from childhood of what you're capable of doing. Listen, you could read a book and remember it now, and you didn't want to read 2 pages when you were little. You could pedal a bike now for a couple of miles where you couldn't even ride a bike before. These are all quantum leaps, but it's over such a vast amount of time. You've had quantum leaps, but it's been this incremental. Do you believe that your brain is capable of more of your capability and capacity? Do you believe what part of you needs to really get enhanced in order to do so much to have a quantum leap? Listen, biceps are important. I think biceps are important. I don't know that biceps are going to give you a quantum leap. Thighs, thigh day is a great day. I think you maybe call it leg day. That's how much I spent time in the gym. It's not thigh day. It's Friday. It's leg day. We should go do thigh day. My point is that, see, my brain understands. Thigh day isn't one of my days. The point that I want to make is that in order for you to have anything more that you want, anything more to quantum leap, you've got to work on this. You got to work on this. Script, algorithms, not going to work, not going to work, not going to work. I know it's not going to work. Why? Because I know a lot of people who have bought algorithm training classes. And by the way, what changes as soon as you get done with the algorithm class? The algorithm. So understanding core philosophy, understanding that your DMP, you need to have a basic understanding of your DMN, your default mode network. And your default mode network and understanding how the hippocampus works and the parietal lobe and understanding that the anterior cingulate cortex and how that's the radio receiver and what you send out and what you think about is what you bring about and all of these things and all of these conversations. And then you ready to throw a wrench in the works? How many of you hang around people? Drop a P in the chat if you hang around people. And if you hang around people, it all gets screwed. The pooch is screwed when all of a sudden you start dealing with people because of your anterior cingulate cortex is the radio receiver. How many of you pick up the negative energy of people in another room? And now all of a sudden you want to work on your DMP, my definite major purpose. I'm getting it done today. I'm getting it done today. I'm getting it done today. I'm getting it done tomorrow. I'm getting it done tomorrow. I'm going to get it done tomorrow. I should have got it done yesterday. That's your default mode network. That's your old story. That's your self-talk. That's your addiction to approval. That's your neuroencoding. That's your mental toughness. That's your hypnotherapy. Those are 5 philosophies, 5 modalities that I've worked on training myself in and getting certified in. Listen, every certification I have in 25 cents gets you what? Nothing. Somebody says they're certified. I don't know if it's right. Good morning, Dubby. Certified. I'm not sure that that means anything. Application. Certified is theory. You understand the theory. Application is when that certification becomes true. There's a lot of people who say they're coaches. There's a lot of people who say they're coaches. A coach is only supposed to help you do what you want to do better. The challenge with a coach is that you don't know what you want to do more of. A teacher will teach you what you need to know. A lot of coaches are teachers. They're going to teach you what you need to know. But you haven't asked, hey, listen, help me do this more. Help me do this more. I want to learn how to swing a golf club more. You hire a coach. You don't hire a mentor. If you're lucky, you might hire a mentor that makes the training, the understanding, they put it in a philosophy. Yes, Stubby, tell them. So understand that if you're not working on your DMN, your default mode network, if you're not working on that, it's working on you. And it's why you struggle. This is just in the brain. Understand, you have to activate your brain. You have to train your brain. This isn't about a script or a story or a comp plan. See, why do you understand your comp plan? How many of you, I'm not asking you to be able to understand it to the nth degree, but how many of you understand your comp plan? Drop a C in the chat. Do you realize if you understand your comp plan, do you realize that you had to wire your brain to understand your comp plan? Your comp plan isn't on a sheet of paper. It's in your brain now. And when somebody says, well, how do you make money? Well, you get money and you get this much money and you get that much money. That has become your default mode network as part of your brain of operating inside of your business model. And why do people want to know the comp plan? Because they want to know what they're going to get paid. You know what I've never heard anybody ask me in the 24 years that I'm in my 25th year of network marketing. I know, Dubby, I'm telling them. Let me tell them. Can I tell them? So what nobody has ever asked me is what is the price I have to pay to reach the top of the comp plan? I know, isn't it true? It's so true. Nobody's ever said that. What is the price I have to pay to reach the top of the comp plan? Nobody's ever asked me that. And that's the whining I hear of people all the time. Why am I not a success? Because you haven't decided the price you're going to pay. Because you haven't decided to understand your brain and rewire it so that you can undo what's been done to you. It's why what I do is called personal undevelopment. And when that sinks in and when that settles in on you, the personal undevelopment, the greatness that's already locked inside of you isn't going to come from another book. It's going to come from some quiet introspection and understanding the rules and the philosophies that make you up. And when you understand the rules and the philosophies that make you up, you now have the ability to make a shift, to make a change. And the price you will pay, the price you have paid to get you where you are, is what scares the heck out of you. Because the price you're about to pay to reach the next level, the upper echelons, the ultimate of ultimates of your success, is a price like nothing else you've ever paid before. It's called falling back in love with you. It's called spending me time. And you can do it in 5 minutes and 10 minutes. And when you finally understand that you need to stop giving away your life so that you can begin to have your life, this is what I do. This is why I don't want to say I get attacked, but a lot of people don't find joy in what I share, because I'm taking away your ability to need to be strong. Be strong, boss babe, kick ass, go out there, put in the grind. It takes strength to go into the grind. Doesn't take any power. Doesn't take any power for me to put something in a grinder every morning and grind it up. Doesn't take any power. It takes strength. It takes force. You ever try to grind up a coffee bean with a fork? Ain't gonna happen. There's not enough strength in the fork. There's not enough strength in your hand. So you got to put some strength inside this thing called the grinder of life. And so you use words that make you feel comfortable. I'm in the grind. I'm in the crush. Let's crush it. Let's kill it, baby. Kill it, man. Kill it. Let's kill it. Are you crushing it? How's that working for 98% of the population? How's it working for everybody you've enrolled? Let's go crush it. I don't know. I just know a lot of people I hang around, they struggle. A lot of people I get to watch and see from a distance, they struggle because they're crushing it. Oh, they may have money, but the rest of their life is in shambles. Their health is a freaking rat's nest of mess. They may have a great relationship, but they're broke. Oh, we're happy being poor. Really? We're comfortable. Bullshit-taki comfortable. What part of you says that this is what you were born for, to be comfortable? You know, the biggest challenge most people have is that they got to get uncomfortable. And the uncomfortable they got to get with is in here. And when they get uncomfortable here, people start to say things to them like, have you lost your mind? What are you doing? What are you thinking? That's crazy. And this is what I do. What if your plans for 2024 included more me time? Not me, you time. You may want to learn about this next event I'm doing at the ranch. Some of you may not be able to make it, but that's going to be 3 days out of 12 weeks of dialogue. 12 weeks I'm going to put a training on. I have the 12 weeks with Sean Mastermind. You're more than welcome to that, to learn about how to get that. This one's going to be another mini mastermind that's going to lead into the ultimate mastermind that I'm creating and have created and have done already. So reach out if you want to if you're done being tired, if you're done being frustrated, if you're done playing second fiddle and you're ready to play first chair in your life, reach out. Let's have a conversation. I think it's time for you. It's probably why you're here. If you believe in the law of attraction, you're here simply because something inside of you said, I needed to hear this today. So there you go. I love you bunches. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling misfit, certified by the Amen Institute, certified by the Neuring Encoded Institute, certified by the Self-Talk Institute, certified by the Mental Toughness Institute, certified by the Addiction to Approval Institute. Ready to go have some fun? Ready to make 2024 the year of years? I love you tons. I appreciate you. I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next event. Thanks, Instagram. And YouTube, I appreciate you so very, very much. I will see you where?